This meeting of the Oak Park Heights City Council for March 11th to order. First order is Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge of
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, and next would be approval of the agenda.
I move approval as presented.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Now we have council and staff reports. I have nothing to report, so we'll go to Councilmember Johnson.
I attended the February Middle St. Croix Watershed Management Organization meeting, and I was appointed treasurer for the organization, so that's the main development.
All right. Councilmember Lindgren.
I testified in the House Capital Investment Committee on Thursday, the 27th of February. That was in favor of House File 214, which would appropriate under the bonding package $1.55 million for design and engineering on our work for water treatment plant. And we have a planning commission meeting this Thursday, the 13th.
Councilmember Runk.
Councilmember Johnson and I attended training at the county for the emergency services, and I have a CVB meeting tomorrow. That's it.
All right. City Administrator.
Council members, good evening. Planning just for your calendar, looking to have a work session scheduled for April 8th. If that works for you, I want to give you advance notice here, and you can circle back if there's any conflicts that you have. So we've got some items that are starting to creep up here, and I think will be good discussion items for us to have. So tentatively plan for that, and I'll circle back with you all. That's all I had.
Police Chief.
Good evening, Council. Just a couple things. This weekend's St. Patrick's Day weekend. We do have a couple extra officers on for traffic enforcement along with other agencies through a TZD grant. And then we've also we're fortunate to help escort the pony hockey team over this past week. They did a great job. Congrats to them. Unfortunately, they didn't get the number one spot, but we're certainly proud they got to the finals there, which was awesome to watch that play out, and it was awesome to escort them out of town. We also had one of our officers involved in a squad crash on Friday. This past Friday, the insurance company looks like it's probably a total at this point. Just a heads up on that, but thankfully nobody was hurt on that. So, but we'll be following up on that probably at the next council meeting. More on that, and that's it.
Okay, thank you.
Have we got the truck yet?
Good. The truck is halfway built. As far as we do have the truck, it's being upfitted with all the emergency lights on it, and they're about halfway done. So it should be here within the next 2 weeks on the road. So.
Assistant City Administrator.
Mayor and Council, the only thing I have for you tonight is your recycling award winner, the first selection for the month of March, Emily Schmidt at 14872 Upper 55th Street North.
Okay, thank you. All right, our visitors and public comment. We have a presentation of the new Oak Park Heights Coordinated Response Team.
Thanks for having us. I am Sergeant Zwak with the Oak Park Heights Police. This is Kibby Claflin. She's our newest member of our team, embedded social worker. Back when I started in 2007, we had no crisis response unit. We had no embedded social workers in the county. Since then, law enforcement agencies throughout the county have really come to light with this co-response team kind of coming through Washington County. They have several with Sheriff's Office, Cottage Grove, Woodbury, and now our department. We have a part-time member, Kibby, and she started about a month ago. So I'd like to personally thank the council and mayor for being supportive of our department to push this forward.
Hi, I'm Tracy Thompson. I'm a clinical supervisor at Washington County and supervise Kibby's position as well as our coordinated response teams throughout the county. Again, to echo Sergeant Zwak, just want to say thank you to the city of Oak Park Heights for recognizing the importance of having this in the law enforcement agency. We started in October of 2021 with our first 2 coordinated response teams at the Sheriff's Office in Woodbury. And since then, we've grown to 5 agencies and still have a few agencies left to add to the county. But it's been super helpful in those mental health calls that come through law enforcement that have any kind of mental health or substance use to them, that the coordinated response teams either go out in progress if they're available, or they do follow up for police reports. And it's been instrumental because, as we have seen, there's no state funding for these. So cities and counties throughout Minnesota have really looked at this and took it upon themselves to recognize the importance of it. So we're super excited to get this one going in Oak Park Heights, and thank you for recognizing it as well. Kibby, you want to just give a little bit of your background?
As it's been said, my name is Kibby Claflin. I have a history, my work history is within crisis response, crisis stabilization, so I've done active response, post-crisis intervention. I've been embedded with several different police departments, and, well, I can plug that I'm also a crisis negotiator for South Metro SWAT. And I've been super excited to be here. It's been the most warm and welcoming opportunity, so thank you. And I look forward to the work.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. All right, moving on. 2026 Community Project Funding Presentation by the Office of Congresswoman Betty McCollum.
Mr. Hammond isn't here just
And
yet.
that person is not here.
Yeah. Oh, there he is.
Oh,
He's going to walk in.
Hi, Charlie.
perfect entrance.
You can just come up to the front.
Ready to go?
Yeah.
Rules been suspended and so forth?
Well, it's your time now, so.
Okay.
I told you we'd get you in and out, so,
And
yeah.
I nailed the timing exactly. I think that's the bottom line here, right? Okay, so thank you very much, Council. On behalf of Congresswoman McCollum, thank you for allowing me to address the City Council this evening. I'd like to briefly introduce myself. My name is Charlie Hammond. I work in the Congresswoman's St. Paul District Office here today in an outreach capacity. So I've got a folder for you, and I can send electronic copies of its contents as well. In the folder, you'll find our office's constituent service guide and a list of constituent casework service issue areas, but really I'm here to discuss community project funding. So each year, members of the House and Senate can sponsor a limited number of one-time funding requests for local community projects that do not easily fit within existing grant programs or appropriations requests. Unlike a regular federal grant application, which are submitted to federal agencies, cities can submit a project proposal directly to their federal legislators. So community project funding grants provide investments in a wide variety of projects such as housing, homelessness prevention, workforce training, public facilities, parks, resilience planning, and other critical infrastructure and services. So included in the folder is a complete list of all community projects sponsored by the Congresswoman since FY22. So we do not yet have official guidance from the House majority on whether community project funding will be available in FY26 or what the requirements will be if they do decide to allow them. However, in the interest of preparing our potential partners to apply for CPFs before those decisions are announced, please see the information included in this packet. We do have guidelines from the previous fiscal year. It's just the best thing we have to go on for the time being, given the unusually high level of uncertainty in the United States House at this present time. But you will find that guidance in here. And once FY 2026 is announced, hopefully in the coming weeks, there will be a short window to apply with our office before the deadline. So if you have potential projects in mind or any questions, do not hesitate to reach out soon. And once they do announce, it is kind of a mad dash. I mean, I think last year was pretty unusual, but we had like maybe a week and a half between the announcement and the application deadline. So on behalf of Congresswoman McCollum, thank you for your time. I'm going to share this folder with you, and again, everything's available electronically. My card is in here as well. Thank you.
All right, well, thank you.
Bye.
Pass it. Yeah.
Okay. Any other public comment? Yes, sir.
Substitute Mayor, City Council. As the Chief of Police indicated, Stillwater High School did a heck of a job in the state hockey tournament. And if you watched any of it, you will have noted that at least one of the stars on that team was from Oak Park Heights. And I would like to suggest that the City Council think about doing a formal congratulatory I don't know, letter or whatever to the Stillwater High School hockey team for its great showing this year. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. All right, we'll move on to consent agenda. Approved bills and investments. We have two different sets. Checks number, let's see, 71,547 to 71,572. And 71,499 to 71,546. Approve City Council work session notes from February 11th. Approve City Council minutes from February 11th. Award the Spring 2025 Boulevard Tree Planting Project to Hoffman McNair Nursery and Landscaping. Approve proclamation for the 2025 City of Oak Park Heights Arbor Day and Arbor Day Month. Approve license for sale and storage of consumer fireworks at Menards number 3129. Authorize brain tumor 5K race on May 18th. Authorize permit for the Stillwater Sunrise Rotary 2025 Bridge the Valley Bike Rally. Approve May 17th, 2025 as City Cleanup Day. Set party in the park for June 5th at Brecky Park from 4:30 to 6:30 p.m. Approve resolution authorizing submittal of a community energy transit grant application. Approve purchase and replacement of police officer badges.
I'll move the consent agenda as presented.
Second. Roll call.
Councilmember Johnson?
Yes.
Councilmember Liljegren?
Yes.
Councilmember Runk?
Yes.
Councilmember Doherty?
Yes. All right, we have no public hearings, no old business, so moving to new business.
Mayor and Council, we have Matt Lehman here from the Stillwater Area Scholastic Cycling Association. He is planning to provide you with a little presentation on the Valley View Park mountain bike trail system. As you recall, SASCA is the organization that built and maintains those trails. He is actually requesting some features be installed on the trail system. They will be using SASCA and team members to build and maintain those features, not asking for any city resources, just asking for approval. He did provide the same presentation to the Parks and Trails Commission in January, and they provided unanimous recommendation to the City Council to approve these. So I'll turn your attention to Mr. Lehman, and he will run through this presentation.
Good evening, council members. As Jennifer said, my name is Matt Lehman. I'm representing SASCA. Excuse me. So, yeah, it's a pretty simple request. We're just looking at adding some features to the park, to the single track trails. And this is a map of the park, and in the upper right-hand corner, I am showing the 5 different types of features that we're adding, or we're asking to add. And as she mentioned, we're not asking for any material reimbursement or labor. We're going to provide all that. So it's just strictly permission to make changes. So next slide. Okay, the first one I'll talk about is drops. And what a drop is as you're riding down the trail, there is a step where the bike would go down. And actually, before I get into these details, I guess I should say all of the features are being added basically for 2 reasons. One is to add focal points for the team to train, develop skills, and mainly build confidence. And then the other, so that's kind of the high school team focused. If we talk about just the general public, it's just adding things to the park that's more interesting and fun to ride, right? Okay, so the drop would be something that you go down. We're looking at 10 to 14 inches of a vertical drop. And for this, we would have what you would call an A line and a B line. So the drop would be on the B line. The A line is the primary trail that you're riding on. And the idea here is if you are somebody who's never been here before and you don't know the features there, the A line is going to be the main line that you're following. So you're not going to be surprised by this. You have to kind of go out of your way to go over this more technical feature. And then the last point is if we just build it out of dirt over time, it'll erode and disappear. So we'll do something to kind of reinforce it and make it durable over time. All right, the second one is steps. So the drop, you're going down as you go, and the step, you're going up as you go. And it's very much like stair steps, right? So we even talk about these things with the same terms. We have a tread, which is the horizontal portion, and the riser, which is the vertical portion. So if we want to look at the size of the step, the tread is going to be about the length of a bike, and the riser is going to depend on whether we consider it a beginner or an advanced. So we're looking at putting these in two spots. The advanced, the riser would be about 6 inches, maybe a little bit more, and the beginner would be less than that, something like 3 inches. So here it's just offering a challenge when going uphill and making it a little bit more difficult. Again, we would have an A and a B line for those. All right, and then the last two, probably going to be building them out of wood. The boardwalk is something that's a little bit wider. It wouldn't have a ride around area because it's wider, and the area we're focused on for this, we're mainly putting it in because it's often muddy when it's after rain, long after it's rained. So we're just providing a spot to ride out of the mud. And then the skinny is something that would be much narrower. So if the boardwalk's 12 inches, the skinny would be more like 6 inches, and that would have a ride around. That's primarily there just a challenging thing to ride on. So, and I think that's the last slide. So any questions?
No, it looks really fun.
I think it looks great.
Looks great.
Yeah.
So you guys have done a great job out there. So,
Yep,
I mean,
I would.
you've had success.
All right. Thanks for your time.
Thank you. All right.
So if we could just get a motion to authorize that.
So moved.
Okay, thank you.
Second.
Been moved and seconded. All those in favor?
Right?
Opposed? Motion carries. Next item is approval of an agreement with Santex Consulting Services for completion of the multi-year water and sewer utility rate study.
Yep, council members, good evening. Before you is a agreement with Stantec to complete a multi-year water and sewer rate study. This has been made a part of our budget for this fiscal year. We think this is a very good time to complete this, just given that we've got some pretty significant capital projects coming up. One that we're starting here this year related to our well project. Want to certainly know that we have adequate funds from a water and sewer standpoint, but at the same token, I think it's important that we don't want to have too much funds. So that's one of the benefits with this, is it guides, looks out the future to make sure that we have adequate resources to fund not only debt service, but our operations and future capital within the water and sewer funds. So with that, we are asking for your approval from a project standpoint. We'd kickstart it here over the next couple weeks and anticipate completing the project with Stantec's team in sometime in probably late October. That's all I had.
Any other questions? Can we get a motion from someone?
So moved.
Second.
It's moved and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Okay, now we have a trail reclaim maintenance project reward.
I'll jump all over this one. Hi, folks.
Wow.
It's been a while. How are you?
great, nice to see you.
Thank you. You as well, Mr. D.
Just say, how come the only time we see him is when he wants money?
Yeah, well, gee whiz. So true. Well, before you tonight is a continuation of our trail maintenance plan, which we evaluated city trail segments using the good old-fashioned PACER rating system. We've categorized our trails into poor, fair, and good conditions. And our immediate focus is, of course, replacing or repairing those trails that are in poor condition. Quite obviously, I think. And so this year's maintenance is going to focus on two key areas, Autumn Hills Park, the trails within Autumn Hills Park, and then trails just to the north of our City Hall building and carrying all the way through Swagger Park. We've also included an alternate to replace that easement trail between 57th Street and Swagger Park as well. We had a pretty strong turnout for our RFP request for proposals. We had 5 qualified contractors that submitted bids, and Minnesota Paving and Materials was the lowest bidder. And so since this work falls within our allocated budget, I am recommending that we award that contract to Minnesota Paving and Materials, and we include that easement trail, the alternate, for a total project cost of $148,755.50. That's an incredible price.
Okay.
When would they start the projects? I know people are going to be asking about it.
Yeah, we don't know yet that at that point, or we're not quite at that point where we can start scheduling, but
Perfect.
do you guys have a preference? I mean, earlier is probably better, I would think.
I'd think.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know I've had questions from residents about it, so I know people are going to be very, very excited to hear those.
Sure, yeah.
Just a,
I'll keep you posted.
just a somewhat amusing comment. Apparently the deer in the neighborhood
Yeah.
really appreciate that path.
They really do.
Which path? The one in Swagger?
When they cross Oldfield.
Oh,
I mean,
sure.
it's kind of my daughter joked about the fact that she was talking to someone and she said, we've got our deer trained in our city because they crossed in the crosswalk.
There was a herd of them that crossed at the intersection, like at the crossing.
That's
Must have been the same
fantastic.
time last week because my daughter ran into it and she said, and they weren't exactly in any hurry.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was like, I think 6 or 10 of them. It was insane.
We'll give them a special assessment, those deer.
Yeah, they really need to contribute.
Nice job on the training, Andy.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're feeding them. No,
All
we're
right,
not
can we
really.
get a motion?
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. And then we have a replace easement trail fence between 57th Street North and Swagger Park.
And I'm going to stay right up here.
Right.
So this agenda item is separate from our trail reclaim work, but the two projects, of course, are coordinated. I think you folks have seen that fence and the trail there on that easement trail. It needs to be replaced. And so now, of course, is the right time to do it since we're going to be working on replacing the asphalt in the park. Mauer Fence Company provided a quote for $16,500 to remove the existing fence, and they will install a new cedar fence similar to the one they installed in 2004 along that south border. I think that fence turned out really nice. So anyway, this project could be funded through the Park and Trail Improvements budget, which currently has a budget of just over $550,000, so the money is there. And that's essentially what I'm asking for is an authorization to contract with Mauer Fence Company for the removal and replacement of that easement trail fence between 57th Street and Swagger Park for an amount not to exceed $16,500.
I got a quick question. I don't have a problem with the fence. Do we need the fence? Is there a reason why that fence was put up there, and do the residents want it? Can we just put the trail
I think they
back?
probably
Do they
do.
prefer it to be
Yeah.
there? Okay.
Yeah, because
Okay.
like the city fence is all around the park line, and so it's
Yep.
put in so that people wouldn't go
Okay.
through the park, and so that kids wouldn't go through people's private yards.
Oh, okay.
And now it's
Sure.
been used because people have dogs in
Sure.
one of the yards.
Yep, fair.
And it's a pretty big
I just
dog.
thought if people maybe they no longer wanted it, and there was a reason, and then not put it in there.
Good question.
Just to have
We could, yeah.
a little line as you drive down, you see this little, fenced-in piece.
Right.
Are they okay with that? So,
Yeah.
only
No, a
question.
very good question, but yeah, absolutely. I believe they do want it because of the
Okay.
dogs.
Yeah.
And council members, we have a couple others too that Director Kegley and I have talked about, these trail fences, or easement fences, I guess we call them.
Yep.
So we're going to have some more conversations and talk about how those fit in our capital improvement plan here, over the next few years, because I think that they're getting to be a little bit tired
They
as
are
well.
indeed.
So we've got some more that we're going to want to talk to you about in the future.
When were those put in, the fence?
Probably original to the development, I'm going to guess. They still have the shadow box. When was the Swagger neighborhood? Was that in the 70s?
Gonna
Gee
say.
whiz. Mr. Runk, you probably know, huh?
I
Gotta
should
say,
know.
Those houses have been there since the 60s, so I don't know.
60s, wow.
Yeah, I think
Swagger
late 60s.
would be early 70s, maybe. They would.
Okay.
It's not original to the development though, because my neighbors showed me original photos of the properties, and there was not a fence until I think later years.
I know
Okay,
that the
okay.
houses on Oldfield in that section were built in like 72 era,
Oh, okay.
so probably in that time.
Yeah.
Okay.
In any case, needs to be replaced.
Did we get a
I make the motion.
motion?
I'll
In a
second.
All right, it's been moved and seconded. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. All right, any other council items or announcements?
I got one thing.
Yes, sir.
Just in case anybody didn't know, the county did, at their February 18th meeting, authorize the beginning of the grading for the 58th Street Extension project. And so they're going to be cutting trees and starting the grading fairly soon. And naturally, when they gave their presentation, the Public Works Department tried to rewrite history. And the fact that they made the claim that this was planned, it was in the CIP since 2019, which I knew was wrong because I have an email from the Public Works Director to his then assistant, who is now the Public Works Director, and Commissioner Kriesel from November of 2020, so that would be basically a year after it's claimed to have been in there. And he specifically states that it is not in the CIP, and that it wasn't even going to be in the CIP that they adopted for the following year. So this is just a case where they ended up taking the project and putting it into where another project had been, using the same number, and now they're telling the public that, oh, it's just, they're just falsifying the records in order to try and claim that they didn't have a private deal with the developer prior to them publicly announcing the project.
In terms of other announcements, should we, since we kind of breezed over the party in the park and the cleanup day, have someone on staff explain the details of the cleanup day, since we alternate now between seasons? And what we're collecting and what time and everything?
Sure. Mayor and council, thank you for authorizing those dates. The spring cleanup, at this point, we'll have to talk about whether we'll have a fall one, but for now, we are scheduling the spring one. It'll be Saturday, May 17th, 8 a.m. till noon, Anderson Corporation Southwest parking lot. We will be accepting general household waste, recyclables, large bulky items. The only things that we won't be accepting are hazardous waste, appliances, electronics, and mattresses. So pretty much everything else we'll take. And it's no charge to our residents. So no restriction on the number of trips to come through during those time periods. We often will see people multiple times. So it's a good way to clean up your yards and your garages. And we'll stay tuned for fall to see if we'll have a yard waste one, or if we'll have something more robust, just depends. Talk about that later.
And then,
And,
sorry, go ahead, finish.
the other thing I was just going to point out that Party in the Park. Thank you again for scheduling that Thursday, June 5th, 4:30 to 6:30 at Barkey Park. This is an annual event. I believe this is maybe the 38th, 39th year that the city's been doing it. We specifically like to do it the first Thursday after school lets out, so maybe kids haven't gone off for summer break yet, summer vacations, and they can come on down, meet the city council, meet the city staff. We serve hot dogs and chips and snow cones and mini donuts, all for free to our residents. And then we do have several businesses that come out and hand out free things to our residents as well, and activities.
Thank you.
And then from a newsletter standpoint, Assistant Administrator, we have one going out before the 17th
We
of May.
absolutely do, yes,
So,
yep.
so council will make sure that it's in there, details about the spring cleanup too, so that our residents know.
Yes.
I got a quick question for the administrator. Any follow-up with Bayport on Fire Advisory Council?
Yes.
Meetings
Yep.
moving forward?
Yep. Council members, so, and we didn't really touch on that earlier, we had our first meeting, fire advisory meeting in quite some time. I thought it was, from my perspective, good to get all the parties together and get things rolling again. So reached out, to check in on some of the next agenda items of what are planned. The Bayport administrator has reached out with some ideas, and so we're continuing those conversations behind the scenes. But we are planning, I want to make sure that we don't get off track and not have these meetings like we got off track before. We need to have these meetings regularly to talk about business and where we're at, and especially with the city of Bayport. For those that are not aware of considering hiring a full-time chief, that is certainly their decision. It's a service contract, as I think we're all aware of. But to answer your question, council member, yeah, there's been some dialogue going on between myself and the administrator at Bayport.
Perfect. And just for the council, I agree with the administrator. I think it was a good start. We heard a lot of good things that we probably weren't hearing before, so look forward to those meetings as we move forward. And I think we're going to try to, I think they were thinking maybe more quarterly, and I think we probably pushed in some of the other entities push to have them a little more regularly to start and go forward. So I think that was good as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Good. All right. Just wishing the mayor a speedy recovery and for her to return back to her chair as soon as possible. And I look for a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. We're adjourned.
I was going to say, this doesn't do it justice.